Hello, everyone. This is Dario Betti. Thanks for joining us on today's RCS Roundtable as part of MEF Connect Business Messaging, 80 minutes around European RCS market. I'd like to tell you a lot of things, and I would not, because we probably have 17 people, which are worth each one of them quite a long chat with. Instead, we're going to compress them in these 80 minutes. And what we're doing that, well, first of all, is to tell you they're all here and to get a chance to have a very quick around the Europe view of all things happening in the different markets. And I will probably invite straight away our sponsor, the one that makes things easy for us to be so open, I should say. Everybody was invited for these sessions, but is Mavenir. So we have Guillaume Mavenir. Guillaume, are you online on our chat as well?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning, Dario, or good afternoon.
Good morning, good afternoon. I think we got a very good night for some of the people that I see are waiting for us as well. So you got a few minutes. Tell us a bit more in a couple of presentations. Everything will be a super fast speed today. So here you start with a bit of an update on where you are with Mavenir.
Yeah, well, thank you, and again, thank you for the MEF to put that event together. It's a massive, amount of content, over the last 3 days, and I'm very excited to be the sponsor or the main sponsor. Wanted to give, an opportunity to make sure everybody understand, where Mavenir stand on some of the RCS footprint worldwide that we've been rolling out. People may remember or still remember, Mavenir is the global messaging leader when it comes to SMS, MMS, and RCS. And our footprint in RCS is growing every month. Actually, we are getting more and more traffic and more operators launching, especially in Europe. But I just wanted to give you an overview of the US market, as you can see, and the Canadian market, where Mavenir has full coverage of that very large and very promising market. But also, if you look at Asia Pacific, Rakuten has been a big announcement we've made where they launched the RCS application Rakuten Link, and making sure, that application is fully compatible with the GSMA standard. And then some activity, as you probably know, in Australia with our friend Telstra down there. But if we go to the next slide, and we look at a zoom into Europe, we've seen, tremendous increase of carriers adopting RCS in network or hosted, but still launching as a carrier. Some of them are here today with us on the call, so very happy to have them. But I think, being able to achieve something that was very difficult a few years ago, to have that full interconnect, and having, Telefonica, Vodafone, T-Mobile, all interconnected with Google and the rest of the Google ecosystem, has been, a tremendous achievement across, the last few months. So we are now getting, to that momentum, where we see RCS picking up. For the story, very, very proud of it, but, very interesting. Last Friday, you probably know that in Europe, there was a massive outage of WhatsApp and Instagram direct messaging. And what we saw during the outage of Facebook is all the RCS, pop up and massive registration. So carriers are still here to back up the user when they need it the most. So when they need, messaging, and OTT can't deliver, the carrier were here and all the network were functioning perfectly between all our interconnection. So very happy to be here, and looking, to listen to that great interaction.
Great, thank you, Guillaume. And I'll keep in the spirit of being very fast. I'm going to jump on the next slide straight away. Just to give you an idea of what's going to happen today, well, we're going to have not one, but multiple countries playing this little tag game with us. We start with Spain, with Orange, where we got Alfonso Gonzalez, the head of digital transformation and business development, and we also have online from Movistar Telefonica, Angel Pacheco, business development and marketing consultant at Telefonica there. And thanks you both for being here. While I'm going to start showing your slides as soon as I can, give me a second. Meanwhile, the floor is all yours, and I will let you say a couple of words about where are we with Spain. Angel or Alfonso? We got you online. Apologies.
I think I cannot see the presentation. I don't know if you want me to say just a few words.
Yes. I will show the presentation in a minute if I can. I just need to find them. This time it's me being well. Our viewers will apologize, but I'm trying to improvise here a bit what's happening. But give us a few seconds, and the presentations are with.
I can start with the presentation in the meantime. Okay, where are we here in Spain? We are, as we have pointed into the presentation, ready to play. We as the main operators here, Orange and Vodafone and MásMóvil and Telefónica too. We expect to have a very big amount of people able to be reached by RCS. Right now, more than 10 million users, reaching more or less the 24% of active users in the mobile messaging. So for doing that, we are working on interconnection, expected to be ready and to be tested during May. There is a lot of interest between aggregators mainly, and also between brands for playing and doing things with RTS. And we have made at this moment different pilots reaching more than launching more than 3 million messages. So we have made a lot, and I think we keep on doing the same during the next months. We have been talking from long time ago about the different models to be used in the first phase or in the initial promotion of the RCS here in Spain, and we are agreeing on what we have to do to be successful in this new way of communicating the user, and to be simple, to be used in a successful way by operators and brands. We expect to have the first multi-operator campaign reaching different users from different operators here in Spain next April, and thinking about how to improve and to speed the same RCS. We are planning on doing some kind of promotions, or even to give a free upgrade of messaging. We have made, in our case, Telefónica, 3 campaigns, one internal with people trying to improve and to select Disney Plus option in the TV package they have in Movistar users, and some with a retailer brand. And we have realized that it's a complex world. We have to do a lot of things to convince and to play with the different groups in the brand and in our internal teams to succeed on this. And there's a lot of lack of knowledge about our channel in users, in brands, and they don't use to see what is it. They like it, but it's new, completely new for them. In our case, the results are better than email. It's evident. Email is saturated channel, but it's similar to SMS. So we have concluded that RTS is not magic. We have to work a lot, and we have to choose the right campaign for the right target audience, and to get the right KPIs. Education is critical. We have to promote, to speak, to commercialize, to say that here it is the RTS world. And it takes time. It's not so easy to start working with this. We need time, and at least 2-3 weeks with a simple campaign. And I let Alfonso from Orange to speak also about their experience like last month here in Spain. Alfonso, when you want.
Thank you. Well, welcome everybody. I'm responsible for A2P RCS service in Orange, Spain, and I would like to share with you some results of real campaigns we have been launching during these months. As Angel has explained, RCS is not magic. The design of the bot is very important. We have designed around 30 bots so far since last year, and some of them have not worked properly because there was a lot of steps, a lot of text. So the design is very important to make it work properly. And also the product is very important. I mean, if the product is not good, it will not sell with SMS and it will not sell with RCS either. But here I would like to share with you some successful campaigns that I've done. These campaigns have been done in the last 2-3 weeks. The first one was a Handset Renewable campaign from Orange, and it worked pretty well. We are, after some learning, the promotion bots we are constructing right now always follow like a similar structure. It's like an initial gift, very visual, that shows the user that this is not SMS, this is something new. Then a small text where we tell them about the offer, about the promotion, and then directly we present them with some action buttons when they can just buy or go to the web or do some action regarding the campaign. So we are trying to keep the bot short, and well, I'm very focused on the images and on the action. And as you can see, the results were very good, an open rate of 41%, and a click on I want this offer of 10.2%. Is the sound okay? Because I'm hearing some return.
Yeah, still okay. Oh, but you're now on mute, Alfonso. Alfonso, we cannot hear you.
Okay, back. I'm back. Sorry. Okay, so can you go back to the previous? Okay, so you have an idea. This campaign we made, it was 200,000 messages, and they will ask hello. Yeah. And they ask that we repeat this campaign for 1 million impacts in April. So the marketing teams were very, very happy with the results. The second campaign we are presenting here was a campaign used to increase the traffic to our stores in Spain. It was done to 15 stores in the north of Spain. We were giving away like a orange bottle and then making some promotions on handsets, and it worked also very well. The open rate was even higher, 47%, and the click, it was a free bottle, so they have to go and pick it up from the store. It was 18%. So yeah, again, the marketing guys were very happy, and we are making a new campaign, this time nationwide. And in the first step will be 500,000 messages. So this is an example of when you design the bot properly, you target the right people, and you have the right promotion. RCS is a very powerful tool. Okay, if we go to the next one. Okay, and just to finish, I wanted to show you a campaign we have designed between the operators in Spain to try to make RCS known. I think the creative concept is very nice. It's called Times Change, and it's supported by photographs from the 80s where people used to use this kind of devices. Like it's a low-cost campaign. We're using emailing and LinkedIn, but it's working pretty well. And we're sending like one campaign every week. And what we would like you to send us your emails if you want, and we could share these campaigns with you, so you can also broadcast them to your contacts in LinkedIn. And I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Well, great. Thanks, Angel, and thanks, Alfonso. I mean, later on, we'll come back to some questions for you. But so far, I like the way that you start saying, things will improve. But you start with 10 million of customers out there, and results like 40% open rate of 48%, 10, 18% of action taken. So that's really something remarkable, I would say, for all of the countries out there and all of the channels, which you might think. So well done, and you come together as a team, which even does campaigns together as a team. So I think you seem to work pretty well in Spain across the operators. Thanks again for being here. Please don't leave us, because we might have some questions later on. But right now, I would like to invite our full representative for the UK, which will be Lawrence LaRoche, Ben Cole, Robert Jones, and Neil Roberts, in case you forgot. Lawrence is from 3UK, Ben Cole is O2 UK, Robert Jones is from BT Group, and Neil Roberts from Vodafone. Hello, everyone, and how are you all doing? Are you unmuted, and are you ready to speak with us?
Yes, Dario.
Yeah, I think so. Hi, everyone.
Unmuted, struggling with the video facility, so you may need to bear with me, but just starting.
Don't worry, because that gives me the perfect excuse to say that I'm struggling to show the slides. So I just blame you. It's no problem, but
I may need to remain hidden. For some reason, I keep on clicking actually the start video feature, and is this happening?
We
yes.
saw it for a second, so I know that you were.
Never mind. You are seeing our beautiful slides, so I guess we will have to actually just run with this. But good afternoon, everybody. We are going to spend, the next 10 minutes reviewing what we've been up to here in the UK. The first message I would like to convey is that RCS is a reality in this country. We are starting to enable substantial numbers of subscribers on RCS, and we are not contributing equally, but when we all sat down and put our numbers together, we got to the 12 million user figure that you can see on the slide. So not too shabby. We didn't all launch in the same year, and Vodafone UK actually firmly led the charge. The launch method was has also varied across the board. At Three, took us a while to find our feet as we were considering a Hutch group launch. In the end, the recommendation was made to launch with Google, and we went live in August 2020. But going back to the 12 million figure, it is a start. There is still a lot to do to grow this number, but it is important to highlight that as a country, we are committed to RCS as a means to communicate with our mobile subscribers. And I will now hand over to Robert Jones from EEBT, who is actually firmly on camera.
Thanks, Laurence. Yes, thanks for inviting us to the session today. So to give you an update from BT, that owns the EE brand in the UK. We have launched RCS, as Laurence said. We've also relaunched MMS to complement what we're calling our rich media portfolio. And we're looking to work with brands both on MMS and RCS to develop new use cases. And we have promotional pricing available if you speak to your wholesale partners. We're also drinking our own champagne. So the slide that Laurence has put up there shows one of our campaign evolution. And actually, what I wanted to, I guess, take people on a journey is that it's not as simple as taking an SMS and just putting that text into an RCS. Yes, you'd get some additional benefits such as read receipts, but we played around a lot with A/B testing and learned the subtleties, I guess, of using imagery, personalizing those messages, things just like what a button looked like and the wording on a button. We've got to a position now where on one of our most recent campaigns, we're at 31% click-through rate. Conversion is 5 times that of any other channel as well. So really pleased, although seeing the results from Orange Spain there before us, it looks like we've also got some way to go. But it's proven really positive, and we'll be using RCS for all future campaigns going forwards. And I guess what you're seeing there is a campaign at scale. whilst RCS is at lower penetration across the network, it is the networks that will be running these campaigns at scale and are able to demonstrate some of these results. So some really positive feedback from our own results. And the two things we'll be working on going forwards really is making this a more compelling proposition for our consumers and for brands, so introducing things such as directory discovery and really focusing on P2A. That's enough for me. I'll hand over to Ben at O2 to give you an O2 update.
Thanks, Robert. Dario, could you go back to the first slide for a second, please?
Oh, sorry, yes, here we go.
That's fine, perfect, thank you. So as you can see from this slide here, we actually launched last, unfortunately, in the UK, but we came to the party and we're here now. And we are rapidly growing our consumer base on RCS. So every week we're adding tens of thousands of users, which make up part of that 12 million. And I'm delighted that we're able to sit on the same stage at the moment and announce a UK number finally. So we don't have from O2 the breadth of campaigns that some of the other networks in the UK have run because we were later to launch, but we are drinking our own champagne. We are getting into all the touch points that we have with our consumers and seeing, can RCS help here, can it help there? We ran a recent campaign with Disney Plus, which we sell to our consumers in the UK, an upsell. And we compared SMS and RCS, and obviously RCS came out better, which is the result we wanted. But we are really making sure that, as Robert said, we are using the right channel for the right reason, tailoring the experiences, using the features we have, so the carousels, the buttons, the suggested replies, everything that the channel has to offer needs to be used to really maximize the value of it. Going forwards, the future for us is going to be interesting. At the moment, our consumer base is split between our carrier platform, which is provided by the sponsor Mavenir, and also Google. We have still some users on the Guest Cloud product. And there's a little bit of fragmentation in the UK around our base and ease of sending messages to everyone. And we need to make sure that we make that super easy for the industry. And we're working with Google closely on improving that experience for everyone. We should see some developments in the next couple of months that improves that. And then we need to work out discovery and directories and making sure that the P2A journeys are really, really seamless for consumers of businesses that are using RCS. We're open for business. Come and talk to us. We have a number of connected partners already. If you're not connected, let us know why not. If you're ready to send campaigns, let's get on board. And I think that's it from me. And I'm handing over to Lawrence from 3.
Cheers, Ben. Oh, there you go. That's it. That's us. So at 3, we are very much starting our RCS journey. We currently have 5 live partners. We have another one in the pipeline. So it feels, compared to other categories that I manage, that RCS is still very much a nascent product, on the network. But we are definitely going to put quite a bit of effort in growing it this year. We thought about actually potentially creating a fallback solution for RCS. We were obviously keenly aware of the fact that our base is still fairly small, or the percentage of our subscribers consuming RCS is very small. So we just thought that maybe creating a broader proposition and potentially reinvigorating the MMS enterprise product could actually help us, as I said, creating this more powerful proposition. So we are in the midst of just really toying around with the idea and looking actually at creating actually or relaunching MMS as a proposition. And we are also looking at using RCS to communicate with our own base, as we believe that actually it is obviously great to have very trusted partners who actually are knocking at our door and are asking actually for RCS as a service. But the best way really to actually prove RCS as a communications channel and how powerful it is actually to really apply it to our own marketing comms. So there are talks internally to actually launch RCS to communicate with our subscribers. And we are hoping that actually this is really going to create even more momentum in the future to really firmly put RCS on the map. So that's it for me. It's a fairly short presentation. I'm hoping that next time we will definitely have more to share. But as I said, history in the making. We are very much actually, putting all our efforts into creating, RCS and making it a success in the future. Neil, shall I hand over to you now?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Laurence. I think for many of us, it seems like we've been at the dawn of RCS more than once. And in fact, if it was the dawn, we must be on the planet Venus, which, if I remember from school, has the longest days of all the planets. But I think the really interesting thing is that it feels different this time from a UK perspective. We've reached a critical mass that has previously been a challenge to this area. And we too at Vodafone are also drinking our own champagne, and the feedback from the consumer teams aligns fully with Ben and with Robert in terms of the engagement rates and the conversions and calls to action. But I think also agreeing with Angel and Alfonso that RCS is not magic. And it does offer a creative opportunity, but that opportunity has to be capitalized on. And I think one of the keys for the success of RCS will be the degree of creativity that is brought to bear on the rich features that RCS offers. So hopefully we'll be moving from the dawn and into the midday and the sunshine of the afternoon as we go throughout this year. Certainly my targets would indicate that expectation. But I think it feels like a tipping point and a different dawn from my perspective.
Well, and thanks, Neil, and thanks, Ben, Robert, and Laurence. I see there are some questions out there, and by the way, we will come back as we are running towards the end with more questions for all of you. But following on Neil's, talking about long dawns or long days, we'll move even up north, where are the days longer in Norway right now? Braga, are you online? Can we speak with you to discuss Norway and the Nordics a bit? Braga Bjontegard from Telenor, product and business manager responsible for RCS across the Nordics for the group. Braga?
Yes, hi Dario. I hope I'm online now. It looks that way. It's in this COVID times with video conferences every day. We seem to meet some different challenges, but all in all, it's working good. Yep, days are getting longer in Norway. The sun is coming back. Norway is a long country, and the northernmost point or part experiences months of darkness in the winter. So people are very glad that the sun is coming back. And the A2P business is also in very good health, which is the topic today. So I'll try to share a presentation here.
And voila, in full screen.
So hopefully you can see that now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in full screen now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, very good. Yep. So basically, I wanted to start out and point out that A2P messaging is still in high demand. These are the volumes of mobile terminated A2P messages from partners in Norway from 2007 to 2020. And as you can see, there's a very strong growth. And RCS fits very well into this existing ecosystem where we have end users, we have customer service, we have ways of handling the business, we have partners, and we have brands and businesses set up to utilize our messaging channels. We've been waiting for a long time to innovate our messaging services and to add the richer functionality and enhance or improve the two-way communication back from the end user. So we have very high expectations for RCS. It's very interesting to see the situation in Spain and the UK. In the Nordics, it's still in an early phase, maybe earlier than in Spain and the UK. We launched RCS or relaunched RCS in Norway in November last year, and now it's a success in a way that we see the service is working great. The native clients that for which we have launched RCS are working very well, and the customers are activating quickly. So 150 days after launch, we have activated about 5% of the total customer base in our network. I can show this is an example of one of the native clients and the activation rate. Here you can see the number of activated clients on that handset, and within 7 days, 60% of all the handsets in the network of that type activated RCS. And after about 30 days, much higher than 90% of all the handsets of that type in our network were activated with RCS. So what does this show us? Well, it shows us that it is possible to onboard end users very quickly with a good strategy. We also, on the other hand, we also see great interest from aggregators, despite the number of end users still being in the lower range. We see aggregators connecting and starting to develop demo services that they can go out and pitch to brands and businesses going forward. If you look at the challenges we have in the Nordics, there's very high iPhone penetration, and that sort of keeps back the scaling of this. And going forward, we need to find solutions for terminals and clients so that we can onboard the rest of the customer base. And then in addition to that, we have the challenge with getting the other operators onboarded across the region. So that's a short status from the Nordics and Telenor.
Well, thank you, Braga Bjørntegard from Telenor, talking about the Nordics and Denmark as well. So far, I have collected a few numbers, and I'll come back to that. And a few questions, I should say, as well. The questions for later, but the numbers: 10 million in Spain and 12 million of RCS users in UK already make 22 million, plus responses of 40 to 30% we've seen. And then that number of 60% we saw from Braga as well, the impact of the actual native and implementation of starting the user for the user experience with the right step there. So seems things to be moving. Thanks also so far. I'm going to be asking Braga if you could stop sharing your screen, so that I think we'll be asking instead Amelia Newsom-Davis, the Director of Pay Services and RCS at Orange in France, to tell us not just about Orange, but also about the French market. Amelia, are you with us? So you were in the office today.
Yeah, that's correct. I'm in the office today. So I'm just checking if you can see the slides that I'm projecting. Okay.
Can you make it in full screen? So yes, perfect.
Is that okay?
Not yet, but try again. Or maybe it's going somewhere else. I'll try to make.
Hang on.
Ah, there we go. Yeah.
There we go. That should be okay. Is that right?
No, try again. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay,
It's okay.
yeah,
I think it's a lag time between France and the UK. It takes a few seconds for it to reach you, guys. So yes, I'm representing all the operators, the French operators, because unfortunately the others couldn't be present. And I know that my colleague, the counterpart rather from Bouygues is going to be talking this afternoon, Alexandra Gavina, in one of the other roundtables. So in France, we have been all working together very closely as operators on the launch of RCS. And I think that's something which really makes the French market a bit special. We have this multi-operator working association called the AF2M, and we have done a lot of work together to make sure that the commercial conditions and for example, the definition of a conversation is the same, and to make things as easy as possible for the market, for the aggregators and for the brands. So we've been a little bit slower to actually kick off the launches than some of the other countries who've been presenting before. We have, at the moment, Bouygues and SFR have launched commercially. That was done in S2 last year. Orange, I'm afraid, we've been the slow one, and so I'm pleased to announce the launch of an RCS pilot on the 1st of April. So announcing that live to everyone who's listening, and we'll be doing our commercial launch in July. And all these three major operators in France we're working in partnership with Google. Free, the fourth operator, is not joined the partnership at the moment, but can be accessed directly through the Google RBM console. So in terms of RCS active users, we have 6.5 million, and we have a very ambitious objective of 25 million for the end of 2022. The install base is moving forward very quickly with OTA deployments to the Samsung base and also Android 11 devices. So we're seeing, it was a little slow in 2020, but we're seeing steep growth at the moment. So we're very optimistic about the fact that we're going to achieve the kind of penetration that we need very quickly. So I wanted to touch on this French specificity, which is the multi-operator work that we do together. So having spent quite a lot of time, as I said, converging on the definition of a conversation and other commercial issues, obviously not pricing, but the other issues that we're allowed to discuss together. We are now working on a common verified sender solution, which we hope will be launched between now and the end of this year. And we're also working on a bot onboarding platform. So that will be a single platform into which all aggregators, brands, whoever will be able to plug into and access directly Orange, SFR and Bouygues customers as well. And we're also working on a bot directory for RCS and conversational SMS. We're hoping that Free will join in, and Free has just joined the AF2M, the French Multi-Operator Association, as of this month. So we have high hopes that we'll have all 4 operators on board very quickly.
That's fantastic news, and then thanks for announcing here the big news of Orange pilot launch on the 1st of April, and the announcement for this summer's official launch. That sounds very positive news from France, and I can see the numbers as well. So Amelia, thank you. Is there probably we have a few minutes? Are there any questions? I'm asking the public to all the presentations so far. So in terms of UK, Norway, and Spain, if you do have, do let us know. So you have a few more minutes. But Amelia, I would thank you and ask you if you could stay for a bit longer. Later on, we might have the questions. So thank you. Oh, and by the way, I can see that Lawrence has got a camera. And
I was going to type, I'm back.
Everybody, you can see we had Lawrence. We were not pretending. It was there behind it. But thanks, Lawrence.
I decided not to take it personally. My camera was not working, and I was thinking, oh, is it just me? Or and there you go. At the 11th hour, I managed to make it work.
Okay. So thanks. And if you have questions for Amelia, Lawrence, Ben, Antonia, François Gale, do let me know. I have quite a few, but I'm keeping it for later. But some of them are generic, so I will ask to the entire set and see whoever wants to answer those. But we're now moving to Germany, so it's a call for being joined by Bernd Heinen from O2 Germany and from Martin Repp from Deutsche Telekom, representing the T-Mobile, the Telecom Germany office as well. So Bernd and Martin, are you online?
We are.
Yes, I'm online, and Bernd as well. Hi, Bernd.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, Bernd, would you like to start? Give us a start here in that case.
Absolutely, yeah, thank you. So I'm talking on behalf of Telefonica Germany, but as well as for all the other operators, because we are working closely together. We have a weekly duo fix between all the three German network operators, talking about the go-to-market strategies, activities, product launch, features, etc. So we try to have a common understanding and aligned approach for sure as well, not on pricing themselves, but around business models that we will bring into the market, etc. Because we know from the past that this is very important to have a joint approach to be successful. And from that perspective, we are still working on this cross-operator website that will be launched during the beginning of April under the naming richbusinessmessaging.de. So there you will find then all the use cases, whatever, KPIs, everything that we will publish from all three operators in a joint venture like that. So that's from this side. And maybe Martin will tell us more now about the commercial situation and the business model that we decided to use for Germany.
Yeah, thank you, Bernd. So happy to tell you that all three big operators in Germany are up and running with RCS. So we launched actually more than 1 year ago in February. And I remember it pretty good because it was my last business trip. Can you imagine flying and so on? But forget about this. It was my last business trip, but it was a wonderful presentation. And we launched that. And in the meantime, all three operators also launched Rich Business Messaging, which is up and running and live in Germany. So we are steadily increasing our user base, and currently we are about 20 million clients active in Germany, and aim to have more by end of the year. So this is commercially happening. And what else do we have? We have our rate plans out there. We have our business models out there. So we are focusing in the first step to have an event and session-based pricing model out there, just to keep our customers, which are mainly the aggregators, to have the chance to live in their used life with pricing models and make it easier for them to get access into the RCS ecosystem. However, this is just the first step. Maybe in the future we are happy to learn from the market currently with our use cases, to learn about new kinds of business models and so on, to discuss what is feasible, what is doable, what makes sense in that case. And this is what we need to achieve in the future. But going deeply into numbers and insights, what's going there, it's Bernd who is sharing some of these topics right now.
Yeah, welcome. So as you mentioned already, we are around 20 million enabled devices in Germany. So we have 89 million users out there. Some have 2 devices on top, but let's talk about unique users, unique MSICNs. So we are pretty good. I think from Telefonica perspective, we have around 1/3 users enabled on RCS capabilities. The Apple iPhone base is not that large in Germany, at least on our end. So there are still very nice features out there to support also those devices that are not supported with very interesting fallback scenarios. So by that, we think the numbers are quite good to start at least. We have now 8-9 bots on the MAP platform on production. We have 20 in the approval process, and we have 45 at all on the MAP platform now in testing. So there's definitely an increase since we launched now all 3 commercially. We have enabled the first aggregators on the contractual side. We have started out some promotions to keep on pushing to go ahead with the development of the bots and to make it easier for the aggregators to convince brands and customers to start, even if we are not at 100% coverage or reach, just on pure RCS for sure. So that looks really good. All the showcases that are out there shows very, very interesting KPIs, figures, you know, better conversion rates, better opening rates, whatever, you name it, better NPS scores. So it depends on the key indicator that the companies are looking for. We probably always have an argument why RBM would make sense, not to switch every traffic right to RBM, but use it for the ones who can receive those kind of messages to have this channel, and you will win at the end in that case. So yeah, that looks very good. I think we can talk about our activities as well. As said, we are working on this cross-operator website. We're investing a lot of money, 6 digits of numbers this year in marketing activities, from display advertising to advertorials to agencies talking to brands and promotions, as said. So we are doing everything to get up on speed. And I think Martin will tell you a bit more now about the future developments that we are working on, the things that we have in a vision. And I think something we already have heard, we are not the only one working on the one or the other feature. API onboarding, batch bot registration, all these things was already mentioned from all the others as well. So Martin, maybe some words.
Yeah. So in Outlook, what will happen next is, so after we have finalized our growing phase, we of course need to establish the service. We have to do a lot of marketing around, and we have to reach, yeah, that's our target, more or less every Android device in Germany with rich business messaging. So that's the kind of massive market we have here. And I think the first step, what operators will do, is then implement RCS into their own customer service to reach their own customers and get them used to learn how to use rich business messaging and explore the advantages of it. Because we should not forget that we as a telco industry might think that we know everything about this and know how rich business messaging is working, but do not forget the market out there, the people make the decision at the brands or even the private customers. They do not really know. They do not really know. They really need to educate and really need to learn what they can do and what the advantages of this service is. And I think this is a very, very big challenge what we have to do. And we need to keep in mind that there will not be the one app or the one messaging service out there. Before somebody is asking about Apple, I think we have to learn how to manage multi-channels. We have to learn, the aggregators have to learn how to deal with this situation, because the world is moving. There will not be the same situation in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years from now. Everything is changing, and therefore we need to be flexible and learn with this situation. However, we think RCS and rich business messaging will be a very stable service and a good service where people can reliably use it. So what we need to have here also is we need to ensure that the user experience in rich business messaging, independent of the channel, yeah, should be the same. Otherwise, people get totally confused and will not use it. So, and this is, I think, our common interest, to get people use rich business messaging for their daily business, and that would be the best what happened to everybody of us. I think that's what our vision is. Make it easy, make it a success, and we are doing what we can to make that happen. Thank you, and thank you, Bernd.
Well, great, Martin, and thanks, Bernd, as well. And I know that Bernd speaks for Paul and for Brian. You work together as a team. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're going to have some in the chat, some information. So if you want to reach out, but even knowing that, I didn't know that you were going to have a joint page, joint access to the activity. I think the operators here are trying to show how much we're cooperating together. We see joint presentation, joint activity. So well done from my side to all of you. And the 18 millions, we have a few people asking, one person actually I should say, which is Gavin Thomas. Those numbers we've seen from Spain and UK, are those all reachable by A2P and via UP2 RCS? So I see the burn is for his 18 million is shaking his hand so far.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. If we talk about UP 1.0, then the numbers would be much higher, especially on the telecom end who started with the UP 1.0 iteration. But yes, the numbers 18 million up to 20 million depends how many users are enabled this night and last night. But yeah, so we are on that numbers on UP 2.0 that we mentioned. Yeah.
And Ben is, I think Ben has to leave, but I suspect Ben called from Rio too, but I'm reaching out to Spain and to UK if anybody wants to comment, assuming that UK was a relatively early launch for some of the operations, so it should be A2P and UP2. Anybody like to comment, maybe from Spain as well?
In Spain is also
Dario, I'm sorry. Sorry, go ahead, Angel.
So Ben, I know you have to leave, so please answer if you want.
Yeah, I was just going to clarify. So all of our the O2 UK users are UP2, and we're ramping those through the year. So they're all accessible for our base as long as we're connected to our platform and to Guest Cloud at the moment.
Great, thank you.
The same in Spain. In Spain, for MásMóvil, Orange, Vodafone, and Telefonica is 2.0, a higher version. Vodafone has moved a lot of 1.0 to 2.0, so they are doing also a bit before trying to provide the best of RCS in the universal profile to the market.
Thanks, Angel. And in case there's anybody else want to say, add something else? No, well, we have a few more, thanks for all the clarification, answering the first questions. We do have more questions, and apologies, do keep them coming. I just want to introduce all of the speakers at this point, let them, and then ask, because some of them are pretty generic, so we might be able to have all of them answering at different levels. So we've talked so far about Spain, UK, Norway, and Denmark, and then we'll touch on France and Germany just now. But we have the pleasure of having some large group, European groups that operate in other markets as well. So I think that both the strategic view of what are they doing with RCS, and also maybe a couple of information on what's happening here and there in other markets. So I'd like to invite Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, Orange, and Telefonica. We start with DT, and we start with Petja Heimbach, the VP of Consumer Communication Services at Deutsche Telekom. Petja, can you tell us a bit more about Deutsche Telekom vision on RCS and what's happening in DT?
Yeah, I'm in the lucky position that I cannot tell you that we will launch each and any of our European footprint countries in all likelihood within the first half, the first 3 quarters of this year. There's a kind of a big movement going on in the moment that we're covering, as I said, our full footprint with the RCS service and the RBM service. I'm kind of proud of this because we have been working on this for a couple of years. It is a difficult situation, and I probably see my colleagues from other groups nodding their head that it's sometimes a bit difficult to push it through all your countries, but we have managed to do this. That is certainly a great achievement. I can add on this that we expect to double the number of active users, which we have then live on RCS and RBM till end of the year across the footprint. And this is certainly something, and we haven't been speaking about that so much yet, that's certainly something which we need to assign to a certain extent to the support of Google, who is pushing the service very much into the base in the moment, as we all know. sometimes there are difficult aspects of doing so, but that is something which us, the telcos, need to reflect or need to act and act on. But on the other side, this is certainly a great support which we receive from Google to make the overall ecosystem happen. I say that knowing that Guillaume is now probably shaking his head that is not good. I just say it is a collective play, what we're doing here. And it is not about any competition of any of the players which we see here in this round. Either we do this collectively and we are succeeding collectively, or we're probably going into trouble.
Great. Well, I think a doubling up of numbers should please many of the people that are listening right now, especially the Deutsche Telekom presence in Europe. So let's ask Andreas Mann. I think you were probably one, I didn't see you, but you were probably one nodding or not. Andreas from Vodafone, what would you like to add on Petya's?
Well, I think Petya overall is right. Just to give you an idea of where we stand, we have launched RCS and RCS business messaging in 14 countries. Somebody said in the very beginning, I think it was Angel, we have to learn internally how to use it. We have run campaigns in order to attract or promote or engage our internal subscribers, our own customers, quite successfully. And we've been doing that constantly across various markets. That definitely work, and we measure the higher engagement rates. We also are active on trying to go out to the market to sell it. I would say it's probably an early dawn in that regard, very early. But we see a certain uptake and we see an interest. We have campaigns running live across 3 countries. So the same use case being implemented across 3 countries in 3 of our, I shouldn't say countries, I should say in our mobile operators, because full country reach is still very difficult with RCS. So yeah, it is taking up, but it's very slowly. I think that's one of the learnings I would say we have. It is not limited necessarily to the 4 big markets that we typically see in Europe. You will also see some traffic picking up in countries like Romania. Greece is engaging. We see other markets. Even if you look outside of Europe, South Africa, interest out there. So it's kind of a broader thing than just 1 or 2 countries that promote it. And I would agree to Petya, it is not on Vodafone doing it on our platform, Google doing it on the Google platform, or a lot of mobile operators selecting Mavenir or others. The industry as a whole must drive it.
Great. So we heard it from Vodafone as well, one of the early starters of that. We have another early starters, probably Deutsch, as to say. We've heard this morning of that from Alex. So Alex, I invite you again, and David Fouqueret. Can you tell us a bit more of what's coming next in Europe for Orange?
Sure. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, as you say, Dario, already talked a little bit about Orange and our plans. I think what Vodafone said, other markets such as Romania is starting to pick up, so definitely makes a lot of sense. We've launched in around 15 MEA countries, so I think that's going to be an important area for us in 2021. Again, like everybody else is talking about drinking your own champagne, that's something that we're doing quite successfully, and again we talked about that earlier. But I think that David wanted to touch upon something we presented, kind of what we're doing, building on top of the Google solution. I don't know whether this is the time now to hand over to David to present a quick slide on that. Okay, that's great.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Yes, we thought with Alex that it would be useful to present what is Orange Group strategy regarding RCS deployment. So we wanted to share with you what we do. As you may have understood, we are a partnership with Google, which is our main partner. We had a former experience trying to deploy our own solution. It was quite complex, so we decided to go with Google 3 years ago. So it's going very well now. As I said, Alex, we've got 20 countries deployed in Europe and Africa. and 50 million users registered on the platform. But we think that Google solution alone is not enough. So that's why we decided to invest on in-house development to complete Google solution. So thanks to this in-house development that are depicted in this diagram, we can address 3 types of business. The main one, which is mainly talked today, is the wholesale and B2B business for aggregators. The second one is we drink our own champagne, so we provide those tools to the direct marketing teams, and also we target to use this solution for care teams to support our customers. And what are we doing? In fact, we are developing what we call BotHub. It's a gateway from aggregators to Google, which has many functions. The first one is to enable the bidding, which is critical for us and for everybody for sure. We cannot trust everything from Google, so we need to count all the messages that are going from aggregators to Google. We also are developing a portal, which is enable us to embed the trusted partners, so the aggregators, and also to manage the life cycle of the bots. So all the bots data are in Orange hosted database. Thanks to the Roma API, in few months we won't have any more data from our bots at Google side. We are also working on the next steps, which is P2A, thanks to the bot directory, and that will get the same data, the bot data in an Orange database. In the future, in the third step, we will implement the verification authority that will be very useful when we will have lots of bots to verify. So it's for the wholesale market. And for the direct marketing teams, we've got our own bot platform that we provide to the direct marketing teams, in addition to a tool that we call direct marketing campaign management tool, so that they can launch their campaigns and so on. And last but not least, on BotHub, there is an interesting functionality that we have developed to manage the handover from our customer to our customer care teams. Sometimes our bots are not replying all the questions from our customers because our bots are not enough intelligent for the moment, and we need to hand over to a human person. So that's why we have developed it on our system. And finally, I just wanted to say you that thanks to our solution, in the future we will be able to connect to other enablers that you for sure know. For authentication, we will connect to Mobile Connect, and also we will connect our solution on the bot to our direct carrier billing system, so that we can add payment on the bot on our bill, on our Orange bill. So that's all for me. Just wanted to share with you our specific and quite atypical, I would say, strategy that could give you good ideas for other operators that have not launched for the moment.
And thank you, David. And also it's specific on how you work with a player like Google in this case. And if people are wondering, is the operators doing nothing? It looks from there is plenty to do still on your side. So thanks to both Alex and to David. And I'd like to invite Borja Lopez Rodriguez, the RCS Global Go-to-Market Manager for Telefonica Group. So Borja, yes, you're online, I can see you. Can you tell us a bit then to complete this round Europe, what is Telefonica? We heard from some of the different markets, Movistars and O2. What is group planning for Europe right now?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Dario, for the presentation. So now it has been 1.5 years, almost 2 years since we selected the sponsor of this event, Mavenir, and now we have more than 12 million users on our platform, which is a great milestone. Also in line with what Angel, Ben, and Bern have perfectly explained, our strategy is pretty straightforward. We continue ramping users and engaging with Google and the rest of OEMs for having more users connected to our platform. And meanwhile, we are connecting all the interested partners in our map. The first step that we want to make is do campaigns with our internal brands, with O2 brands, with Movistar brands, so we can showcase all the RCS opportunities first internally, and also this is their excellent use cases to show to the brands, aggregators, and to the whole ecosystem. And also what Angel was commenting, that RCS of course is not perfect, so we are also working to improve these campaigns, to learn what is the user interaction, how can we improve the UX of the campaigns, the design. So all these things are also ongoing in the OBs. So yeah, great, in line with the messages from all the rest of operators. We continue working at a country level between all of us to make RCS a success.
Well, thanks, Borja, and thanks to all of you. I have to say, it shows what a high level of professional skills you all have around here, and we probably have done all of the interactions exactly in time, which I never thought. It's all up to you. So we have 10 minutes for question and answer, which is great. And Petya, I see you could say something else. So could you?
Yeah, sorry, Dario, I didn't want to interrupt you, but I think this is the right point, because what I feel is like we are a little bit in champagne lounge in the mood in the moment, which is probably good. If I see the numbers, which I've heard over the past 60 minutes, this is a fantastic achievement. I mean, how many years have we been working on this? And now we are there. On the other side, what I wanted to ask is if we believe this is enough, what we are currently doing. Because the competition is out there, and the competition has numbers which would make us look probably very small and not that successful. They have one single interface where brands can attach to, whereas we are still struggling to find out that we have the same rate card in each of our countries, not to say across Europe, for our customers. I'm speaking about brands and aggregators out there. So I'm not saying this is the wrong path what we are doing here, but let's keep up our intention on making it even more competitive out of the starting point where we are today, competitive to not between us here in this round, because none of us is in competition to each other. The only competition which is out there is those of the OTT players. And these OTT players have a couple of advantages. They have a couple of disadvantages, by the way. You have local sales forces. We have local sales forces. So let's make advantage out of this. But let's not stick to single market perspective, to single operator perspective in each market. And I've heard a lot of collaboration activities per market today. So that is fantastic, really convincing. But make it even stronger, make it even broader, go on group level for collaboration, etc. Because at the point where we are today, I'm not sure if this is already in a competitive setup.
Great. So one united front, Petya says, with the OTT. Let me ask one question then on that, which is some people are saying, are trying to combine Mike and Eamon. Mike was asking, Mike Higham and Eamon Delegan were asking different questions, but I can probably summarize. One is about charging models for wholesale RCS. They say sometimes they are confusing and expensive. So how would you respond to that? Obviously, we cannot talk about pricing. Let's be level. I got too many operators here. You are not going to be allowed to say that. But definitely, you could talk about the commercial models with confusions out there. How can we solve that? Would any of you raise your hand? There's a raise a hand opportunity, or just shout in your traditional way if you want to answer this question. I'm trying to look.
I'm happy to step up, Dario, with that one.
Yeah, sure, Andreas.
I think what we try to do is always we look at what is the value we deliver in the end, or what is the value that is taken out by the brand or the consumer. And I think most of us would agree there's a kind of a common sense. We will charge per messages, we will charge per sessions. That seems to be a common denominator by now. There are subtle differences probably in the implementation, and that will get harmonized. I'm quite certain about that. I would say we also test with other models, like if there are action buttons, for example, could you charge for that to get more into the value chain? Investigating what are revenue share models. So there's a bit of learning, but I think we have to be aware there's a lot of value we give. And the brands, in one way or the other, have to share some of the value they get by making a sales, by getting a better customer engagement, whatever it is. I don't think it's really the blocking point, the commercial model, because the kind of start is there. And for the next year, all of us will more or less start based on sessions and messages. Not sure if that answers the question, but that would be a kind of a first view.
Well, I think the answer to Mike seems to be there is a convergence in terms of the models, in terms of the confusions, as you were saying, the session and the messages. As people were saying before, there is a lot of improvements happening as we go along. So I think things will seems to be getting better. But anybody would like to add on Andreas' comments? Or from extending it to all, including the countries. If not, well, I think you've heard it here, and Eamon and Mike, thanks. I hope I've addressed and summarized your questions given the limited time we do have. There was another comment, and I will just kind of combine another two of them as well, which was Chris Chen and Tenny. One question from Teniola, Tenny Stuffman, was interesting. There is a lot of champagne drinking, so I should probably say that's a fair comment. There's been a lot of champagne drinking in terms of the old fashions, and mobile operators we've seen are using RCS for their own internal campaign. So that's very interesting. How do you achieve, Tenny asked, the level of disengagement between Google and telcos as well? Is there common champagne drinking? She seems to be asking as well. Anybody would mention other using Google as a partner or as a provider? Anybody would like to comment on their relationship with Google as well? I see Petia is possibly coming next.
I can jump in, or at least give it a start. As many of you know, we are not very religious about how we achieve to make our customers happy with the new messaging service. So we use a Mavenir-based platform in our strongest market, Germany, but we use the RBM and RCS platform from Google in our European footprint. And that works out well. It's going to be interconnected in the next couple of days, months, weeks. So we have full access from everywhere to everywhere. The partnership with Google is a strong one and a good one, positive. And I have to say, Guillaume, we didn't speak about this before, but the partnership with Mavenir is as well. So there is no conflict, no problem in this if you play it the right way.
Great. Well, thank you, Petia. Anybody would like to say a couple of words on the topic of relationship with Google? Alex, I see you.
Yeah. I mean, just to reiterate what Petia said and what I said earlier this morning, I think we have a good relationship with Google. I think that they've really helped to kickstart the RCS initiative again. We're very happy. We have a client that our customers love. That we're seeding the base. We've got 50 million customers. We're doubling our base every year, or more than doubling. We're going to hit our magic 30% figure in most of the countries in Europe. You've already seen that, 25%, I think, already. Most of the countries in that little whistle top tour around Europe, UK, Germany, Spain. overall, I think it's in our interests. We're working together. And what I'm hoping is for them to work a little bit more on the P2A, and to really close the whole circle, P2A to A2P circle, because a lot of stuff we're doing is on the A2P, and if we can create kind of an ecosystem, that would be really fantastic. But overall, it's good.
Well, and Dario, if I may, this is Guillaume. If I just may, comment, it's actually very true that we have a strong as well Mavenir and Google partnership. It's probably not very well known. But it's interesting, like we are able to work with them on the Android messages client, on the interconnect, which is one of the biggest challenge. And then just recently, we support their Roma API, which is an access, to the RBM environment in Google. So I think it's interesting, it's not just, Mavenir versus Google. It's actually, we work very closely with Google. Actually, I have weekly call with Google as well, working with them and developing the business together. So it's an ecosystem, and I think Petya is right. The threat is not the carrier or Google or Mavenir. It's out there. It's what's going on with Facebook. Is what's going on, with the other guys, out there that are trying to get that conversational commerce under their wings.
Well, thanks, Guillaume. I look at the time, and I think that our 80 minutes are almost towards the end. We thought it was a crazy idea. We thought it just sounded a bit like Jules Verne and 80 days travel in the world. We traveled a lot of Europe, so I'd like to thank you all for them. And I apologize for all the questions again, but I'm not able to answer. But at least we gave you a taster, and we did knew that there wasn't going to be enough to let all these people talk. There is much more happening, but you've seen it and you heard it, and I'm taking notes here myself. I'll go back, but I've counted at least 40-50 million users out there of RCS, and things such as doubling between some operators saying what they're going to be doing next. And I look at some impressive return on campaigns. That's to be proven. Maybe you yourself, if you're an aggregator or brand, you should go and test yourself. That's true. Don't take them for their words. But and above all, I think that there's been a tremendous amount of cooperation between the mobile operators. Something that I was working mobile operators for a long time. I haven't seen this level for quite a bit. So I'd like to thank you all for playing along and showing your support for the RCS ecosystem right now. We will come back and probably would love to discuss all these topics in more details. But I think we need to move on to the fantastic work of RCS. Even later on, we have Latin America coming and other countries. So I will stop. And I will say again, thank you all for participating, to all our 20 fantastic guests. And to all of you watching right now, as you know, there are more opportunities. If you miss some of it, we're going to have a video soon. And if you have questions about any of these, we'll very gladly let you speak also directly to some of our speakers as well. So from my point, again, thank you. And I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Dario.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.